Hello Libra, welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be your monthly reading for the month of August. Keep in mind, timing and energy is still fluid. This reading could play out at any point in time throughout the month of August. This reading may or may not be for you, so I do ask that you only take with you the messages that resonate and chunk the rest. This is for any major Libra placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. So let's jump in, Libra. Let's see what kind of a message we have in store for you for the month of August. I am going to start off by using the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. We're going to pull your current energies, a message from your higher self, near future energies, what's below the surface, what's hidden below the surface, and a potential overall outcome. And then we're going to clarify these energies with the tarot. So let's jump in, Libra, and see what kind of a message needs to come through for you. Happy, and round reverse. So I think you're breaking free from a negative, repetitive cycle. I think you've had enough. And you're headed straight towards happiness. So I think get ready to reevaluate where you've been going round and round in a cycle with somebody. It's kind of time to break yourself free and to step into some really happy energy. So Libra, breaking free from a cycle, a toxic cycle. So let's see what the universe has in store for you. So your current energy. You do want a loyal heart, and you do want to be with somebody that feels like home, and maybe you already have somebody in mind. So I feel you're definitely embracing some change. I think you've really been dreaming about and fantasizing about a loyal, committed partnership. And your higher self is saying, you got to stop ignoring the signs. You've got to start listening to your intuition, because there's a block right here. I think you're not feeling like you got any creative juices flowing through. I think you've been receiving some messages from your guides that I think you've been ignoring, is kind of what I'm feeling. And I think you got to really open up your heart here, Libra. I think you really got to open up your heart. I think things have been feeling stuck, stagnant. Maybe you've recently been feeling like you got flipped upside down. Maybe you've been thinking about this person. Maybe you thought this person was a loyal heart and that this person was home to you. But I think maybe this isn't your treasure. Maybe this isn't your happily ever after. But let's see what potential near future energies are. I think you thought this was a connection that felt like home. And sometimes when a connection feels like home, it's familiar, because it's rooted in a negative cycle from childhood. But let's see what potential near future energies are. I think you want an equal. You want somebody that will treat you as an equal. And I think maybe you've, been dangling by a thread. Maybe you've had your head up in the clouds. And I think there's a need to go within. There's something that needs to get cleaned up here. So interesting. Virgo had happy, and clean it up. So you could be dealing with a Virgo. But there is definitely a cycle coming to an end. And maybe this was an illusion of somebody that was loyal. Maybe they weren't actually loyal. Maybe there was double loyalty here. And I feel there's been resistance to learning this lesson and closing out a karmic cycle. This is a 29 card. So rounding the end of something here. And I think you're going to need to take a deep breath. You're going to need to breathe, and you do need to go within. I think maybe meditation is going to serve you well, because there is something getting cleaned up. There's something getting closed out. It's time to close this out once and for all. It's time to take the lead of your life. Can't keep sweeping this under the rug, Libra. You cannot keep sweeping this under the rug. It's really time to leave something behind if you want that happiness. You're going to have to stop ignoring the higher power. I feel you've not been listening to your intuition. Maybe you thought this was something that was unfinished. Maybe you've been very poised, very together when it comes to a situation. But I do feel you are being divinely guided to leave something behind. Something that maybe you've held on to for a long time, thinking that this was your happily ever after. And maybe you can't imagine being with anybody else, but something needs to close out here. So let's see what's hidden below the surface. There is a new life, a brand new life here, and I don't think you even see it coming. There's a brand new life here. And there is a higher power saying, if something's not meant for you, That's why it needs to leave your life. You're definitely stuck between worlds here. Maybe you've been in the dark night of the soul. Maybe there's been resistance to stepping into this new energy. But it's time to finish something out that's long overdue when it comes to an ending. And I feel a higher power is saying this was never a solid foundation anyway. This really was not your happily ever after. I think there's been some double loyalty here. So let's take a look at a potential overall outcome. This is not going to go the distance. You're closing the book to the past. Something's closing out. Something is finalized here for sure. And I think this has been a very long, long journey. But I think you've gained a lot of wisdom. Something is definitely coming to a dead stop. There's no reviving this connection. It's got to burn down to the ground completely. It did not ever have what it takes to go the distance. It's time to close this out. Stop ignoring the higher power, Libra. This is not an unfinished symphony. It's time to close the book on the past. It's time to step through the doorway of this new experience. And maybe it hurts. I think maybe you're feeling left out in the cold, abandoned. Maybe this person come along to trigger some deep-seated healing in you. I think you're feeling all alone. You're feeling orphaned, for sure, feeling abandoned. And I think you've been lying to yourself. You've not wanted to see the truth. And the truth is, maybe one or both of you have been wearing a mask, a false persona. Definitely ignoring the higher calling. Definitely ignoring your intuition. And resistance to stepping into karmic freedom. I think get ready for some truth to be exposed. And I do think it's going to hurt. And I think it's going to leave either you or your person left out feeling like they've been abandoned, ghosted. Maybe you've been ghosted. Maybe it's time to break these chains because I don't feel this is coming back around. It's dead. It's over. It's not getting revived. There is no regeneration here. There's no revival because it never had what it took to go the distance. And I think you've not been wanting to admit this truth. I think there's going to be a wake-up call because you're at a fork in the road and you're being encouraged to choose a new direction. So let's clarify with some tarot energy, some tarot.
I'm having trouble hearing.
Oh,
can you say that again?
I'm sorry, Alexa. I did not say anything. Oh my gosh. All right.
Thanks for telling me.
Thanks for telling me. Okay, so yeah, there is going to be a tower, Libra. Oh my God, and this is going to come in like wildfire. There's a breakdown of a false foundation. This is not a loyal, committed partnership. This was never, ever going to lead to a commitment of any sort, and I think it's time to listen to the higher guidance. You could be dealing with a Taurus, doesn't have to be, but either you've recently gone through a tower or there's a tower coming to break you free from a situation that is not meant for you. This is not your happily ever after, and this is gonna, break something down. It's a false belief. It was a false foundation. There was never any love here to begin with, and definitely no commitment. There is no commitment here, so I kind of feel there's gonna be a shakeup. Unavoidable change, and you're going to have to rebuild in a new direction, but you do got a new life around the corner, Libra. So let's clarify this loyal heart. No place like home. Yeah. Really. Somebody's not willing to invest here. Bad investment. And I think you've been holding on, wanting to make things work. And I think, yeah, there's a tower. This was never, ever going to lead to a foundation of stability, and there is going to be a realignment. And maybe you're going to be receiving a message that you really don't want to hear. This is bad news. No spark, no drive, no creative drive. Feeling like a jokester, feeling like a fool. And there is going to be a realignment because there's been juggling. And somebody's not had the strength to withdraw from a situation that really was a bad investment, and maybe there is going to be some blocked communication. Maybe it's time to block this person. I think, you didn't want to learn this lesson. You weren't willing to go within, and you're getting a major wake-up call. You're gaining a new perspective. There was never any emotional investment here. This was unrequited love, and I think it's time to break yourself free from an old mindset and an old idea. Because this was a false start. It never really got off the ground because it was never meant to get off the ground. There was really no love here, and I think this hurts. I do think this hurts. I think you might even be going through an emotional breakdown because I think you did have a lot of love for this person. But it was an illusion. It was a fantasy. And I think there's fear about maybe accepting that there was no balance. This was unrequited love. So let's take a look at the imagination reversed, message in a bottle reversed, treasure island reversed, 8 of Pentacles. I think it's time to do some work on yourself here, Libra. I think it's time to find balance within yourself, maybe even mastering a craft. You know, we got the 6 of Pentacles hanging in the window. You need to find balance in your life. There was no balance in this connection. It appeared to be loyal, but it really wasn't. Maybe it appeared to be your equal, but I don't think they were your equal. And I think this juggling, trying to put in the work in something that just isn't working has really weighed heavy on your heart. And I think it's time for you to put in the work to manifest your happily ever after. But this was not it. 2 people not on the same page. And I think maybe it's time to, you know, get rigorously honest with yourself. I think you were deceiving yourself. You were blocking yourself from seeing the truth. You had the rose-colored glasses on thinking this was going to be your ultimate contentment. And the energy is saying you need to walk away from this. This is not your happily ever after. There was manipulation. There was lying. There was gaslighting, belittling. And you've had the rose-colored glasses on. There's a disconnect here. There's an ending here. This is not your happily ever after. And I do feel somebody is without a doubt getting left out in the cold, facing some abandonment wounding of some sort. So let's take a look at the clean it up and the breathe reverse, because you've not been wanting to go within. And I think you're really needing to go within. Yeah, you've been resisting walking away from this connection. And I feel it's really prevented you from going towards wish fulfillment, from going towards what it is that you deserve, from walking your spiritual path. And there is a need to walk away, to stop holding on to something, because I do think maybe you're afraid to be alone. I think you're afraid to be alone. You're afraid to, you know, be abandoned and left out in the cold. And I think you've been lying to yourself. You've not been honest. Maybe you've been dealing with somebody back and forth, in and out. You know, they come in, they tell you all kinds of lies, and then they leave you out in the cold again. And maybe this cycle has been going on for maybe up to 5 years. And you've not wanted to walk away. You've been pretending like this is my person, this is my happily ever after. I'm going to hold on, I'm going to hold tight. I don't want to walk away from this. And the truth is you need to walk away from this. You need to choose to walk away from this and to clean this up and to go within and really learn this lesson. Where's your worth? Where's your value? Because, yeah, I think you made a poor judgment call. There's nothing here to celebrate. There's no unity. There's no sense of a solid foundation. This isn't working out. This could be a canceled engagement. But this is not a solid foundation. And I think, you know, you've been resisting this awakening process. You've been resisting making that final judgment call, and I think something's coming to a dead stop, and this could even lead to an emotional outburst of some sort. You could be dealing with a Cancer. It doesn't have to be, but I feel you need to get control of your life. You need to get control of this situation. It is not healthy. It's time to clean it up. You've not been wanting to move on. You've not been wanting to take those steps in a new direction. You've been holding on to an unrequited love situation here, Libra. Maybe waiting for an apology that's never ever coming. And I think you need to know your worth and you need to know your value. This is the queen of value. She doesn't cling to control. She knows her worth. She knows her value, and she's focused on herself. And I think it's time to admit that there is no victory here, and to find your passion for life again is kind of what I'm feeling. So let's take a look at this new life below the surface. This is what you really don't see. This is what's hidden below the surface. I think it's time to do the work. It's really time to do the work on yourself and to build a solid foundation for yourself. And yeah, I think you were hoping that, you know, somebody would come back, that maybe you thought this was a missed opportunity. But I think all you're doing is delaying a brand new experience coming in. And I think you need to get honest with yourself. That's your energy, the Queen of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So I think it's time to honor yourself, to get those firm boundaries in place, and to not settle for less than you deserve, Libra, because you were dealing with somebody that was given to more than one. You were not getting what it is that you were putting into this connection. It was not fair. It was not balanced. It was not equal. I think it's feeling like betrayal. Maybe you're feeling like somebody stabbed you in the back. But I think, you know, there is another opportunity trying to come in, but it can't come in while you're holding on to something that isn't meant for you. There's no working together in this connection. There's no sense of community. And it's time to break yourself free, I think, from a trauma bond or addictive cycle of some sort. Remember that round and round at the beginning? It was a cycle, a trauma bond. You know, this running, this chasing, all of this stuff, it's not how love works, right? And I think, yeah, you've had the rose-colored glasses on. You've had the blinders on. You've not wanted to look at this. You've been deceiving yourself. And I think it's time to get rigorously honest with yourself. Yeah, it was a foolish decision. And there's a brand new beginning here. And I think you've been clinging to control because of the memories. Maybe there's a lot of memories here. Maybe this is somebody that you go way back all the way to grade school or high school. But really, it was never meant to get off the ground in the first place. It's kind of what I'm feeling. And you need to get honest. You need to use that sword to cut people out of your life that don't reciprocate. Anybody that's backstabbed you, maybe there's been some gossip behind the scenes, but I think this connection has taken you to your knees. And it's going to take a while to recover, but that final nail in the coffin, that tower's coming in, and it's that final nail in the coffin to make you realize that this was never meant to be revived. So let's clarify the regeneration in reverse, the go the distance in reverse, and buy the book. I think get ready to close the book on the past. Ooh, that one went flying, Libra. Yeah, get ready to close the book on the past. It's time to move on. It's time to leave the past behind. It's time to move to calmer waters. It's time to know your worth. It's time to know your value. And it's time to heal. I think you need to go within, Libra. You need to learn this lesson because you've been resisting learning this lesson. You've not wanted to close out this cycle. And I feel the more you resist this ending, the harder it's going to be. Maybe in the past, you were dealing with somebody that just was very cold, very detached. There was an injustice here. There is no balance. And your heart does feel heavy. I feel somebody that's really not been telling you what's been going on. There's your energy, Libra. Again, the justice in reverse, and I think you've been all trapped up in your head. Sleepless nights, having nightmares, stress, anxiety, clinging to control, resisting moving on. And I feel like this energy of it feels like you just had the rug pulled out from under you because this person is not emotionally invested. They really don't have any passion for you, and I think you did. I think you loved this person a lot. And it was an illusion. And I think there's fear about the future because you really don't know what's on the other side. But maybe you need to dig a little bit deeper. Maybe it's time to do some studies, some research, and to shift that perceptions because there's a need to close this out. You need to let this come full circle in order to go into a state of healing. And I think you've been sitting in some very heavy truth. And I think you're really getting ready to do that deep dive when it comes to this heart healing. You're leaving the past behind. I think the rose-colored glasses have been removed. And you know it's time to go in a new direction. You've not been listening to the higher power. And it's time to close the book on the past once and for all. So let's get you a couple last messages with the Crystal Stone deck. This is heavy. I think it's time to trust your gut. It's time to face your fears and to find your confidence to go in a new direction. I think you're about to get spun out of your comfort zone because this was a negative thought cycle and it's time to take action in a new direction. It's time to face any insecurities once and for all and to find your core power. Maybe you've been really lethargic lately. Maybe you've been dealing with an energy vampire. I think maybe you thought this was the gold, and I think it was fool's gold. I think you've been dealing with somebody that has really gotten you way out of alignment. Maybe somebody that was using you or draining your energy. And I think it's time to center yourself. I'm just saying, I think it's time to center yourself because this connection was shrouded in dark matter, Libra. So let's see what last messages Spirit has for you. I think somebody's getting blocked. There's really not been healthy communication. And I feel it's time to do the deep work on yourself to prepare for this new life, to stop clinging to the past, to get yourself unstuck. I think you felt suppressed, depressed, going through a period of depression, and it's time for you to find your passion for life again. A redirection for sure. And I feel maybe you've been holding on because you thought this person was going to put a ring on your finger, but I feel you're dealing with somebody that, you know, was just in it for one thing only, and maybe just the sex. And it's time to come out of the darkness. It's time to come out swinging and to go after what it is that you deserve. And I do think this hurts, and you're going to have to learn to be your own mother. I think you were in an entanglement, and it created this 24/7 fear cycle, this complex connection, and I feel neither of you could ever find the right words. There was never any clear communication in this connection. And I think you're going to have to hold your heart, and you're going to have to breathe it out. It's going to hurt. I think maybe this person made you feel small. Maybe they did their job by getting you to open up and be vulnerable. Maybe you're looking for somebody to take care of you when you've got what it takes to take care of yourself, Libra. But either way, it's time to be a grown-up. It's time to expand because this was a burden, and I think you're going to have to clear any resentments. You're going to have to clear some resentments, and you're going to have to get honest with yourself, because I think you've been feeling very disconnected, and you need to speak up. You need to speak up. I think you've got something to express, something to get out, and you need to get honest with yourself. It's time for you to do some deep diving in the heart, I feel. Maybe you've had this burning desire for this person for a very long time, and that's what you've been holding on to. But I don't feel that this person has what it takes to give you what it is that you deserve. And I think you've lost your voice somewhere along the way, Libra. And I think maybe you've been a little overly dramatic when it comes to clinging to control, begging somebody to talk to you, begging somebody to give you their heart. And it's time. It's long past time to let this go. It's long past time to let this go. And so I do feel this connection really has brought you down to that gutter level, but it is in the times of crisis that we find our confidence, and we find the ability to wake up and to clean up a mess once and for all. So I think get ready to go into the depths of your shadow self, to dig yourself out of this prison that you've made. There's been this indecision, and maybe you've been dealing with somebody very materialistic and vain. Could be you, but I feel it's time to make that final judgment call. You could be dealing with a Leo, but it's time to break free. Stop chasing every shiny thing that comes on your path, Libra. It's time for you to shake off this shallowness. It's time to go deep into the depths of yourself in order to clear your pathway for enlightenment. So I kind of feel you're going through a spiritual cleanse of some sort. And in order for you to move into this new space, into this new life, Libra, you're going to have to release this lingering bad energy. And you're going to have to pray. You're going to have to go within and pray for those answers. Maybe you want to start working with crystals, but I feel a huge clearing of energy. And you're going to have to learn to pick yourself up off the floor in this process, and you're going to want to be gentle with yourself. You're going to want to be gentle with yourself, because you can't keep holding on to this person, because I feel it was rooted in a negative pattern from the past, and there's that Scorpionic South Node energy coming up. I think maybe you've been dealing with somebody who is going to have some extremely sharp words to say. And I think it's time to cut this negative person out of your life. I think it's having you question everything, and there are definitely some dark forces at work here. And I feel like you've been throttled backward in order for you to burn a bridge. It's time to burn this bridge. It's time to get yourself aiming in the right direction, because this connection had you misfiring. It had you an illusion thinking this was your person, this was your home, and it's not. And if you're not careful, you know, I feel you're just going to keep getting drugged down and burning up in these flames. And I think this maybe was a wild obsession. a wild obsession that you need to transform yourself out of. So maybe it's time to explore some new possibilities. Maybe it's time to really embrace the healing journey and to go forward clearly in the heart. Yeah, it's time to transform your life, without a doubt. And I think this was a very painful and expensive lesson. But you're shifting your perceptions. And that's what I got, Libra. I hope this helped. I hope this resonated. If you would like to book a personal or a twin soul reading with me, I do encourage you to check out that description box below, Libra. And I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.